Welcome back to another episode of On the Record. I'm your host, Armand Borgai. I feel like it's been a while, guys. I didn't post a video last week because I was in Vegas, but I did post a vlog at UFC in Vegas. So if you haven't seen that yet, be sure to go check that out. As always, like, comment, subscribe. Let's get right into it. We're back today with a brand new episode. Okay, before we get into the main segment, couple of quick random headlines. The Sixers are Sixering. They have been hit by a massive wave of injuries that have pretty much crippled the team. Can't say I'm surprised. Tyrese Maxey has a ligament injury in his finger. He will miss a total of 3 weeks when it's all said and done. Jared McCain would have surely come in handy right now. Joel Embiid was supposed to miss 3 games with an oblique injury. He's now missed 10 games in a row. It's unclear when he will return. They say he might return tonight against the Kings. We will have to see. By the time you guys watch this video, that game would have probably already happened. Kelly Oubre is missing a total of 2 weeks with a sprained elbow, and Paul George is still suspended for a few more games. And with this wave of injuries, it seems the Sixers have resigned themselves to a play-in spot. They currently sit at 9th place in the East. They can still finish in a playoff spot. They're only 1.5 games behind 6th place, but I'm not too optimistic about that. I don't think they're in any danger of falling out of the play-in or anything. They're 9.5 games ahead of 11th place, so it would take an insane collapse for them to fall out. Presumably they'll have everyone back ready to go for the play-in, but I still think they're a threat when they're at full strength. But now they have less time to put everything together and figure things out before the postseason. March Madness starts today. Now, depending on when you watch this, it may have already started. Duke, Arizona, Florida, and Michigan are your 1 seeds. My team, Villanova, finally made it back to the dance after a 3-year drought. They get in as a 8th seed and will face the 9th seed, Utah State Aggies, Friday afternoon. Tough matchup. Utah State's a 1.5 point favorite. I'm not overly optimistic. I do think they can get it done against Utah State, but if they do, they'll likely end up playing the 1 seed Arizona, who I have winning the tournament. So tough road ahead, but I guess making it back is a step in the right direction. Let's see what happens Friday afternoon. And finally, shout out to my team, PSG, getting it done in the Champions League. Whooping on Chelsea. Chelsea, what happened? You guys thought it was sweet after you beat us in that Club World Cup. But we're back. And we're going back to back. You get me? We're winning that thing again. You guys were so confident coming into Paris. You got smashed. And then we went to Stamford Bridge. All week I heard, remontada. They're coming back. We had to reroute that, Smashed. Better luck next year. Liverpool, you're next. Okay, there's been a lot of activity, a lot of motion on the Eagles front now that we're a few weeks into free agency, so let's talk about it. So far, Jalen Phillips, Nakobe Dean, Reed Blankenship, Brett Toth, Matt Pryor, Jahan Dotson, Josh Uche, Azeez Ojulari, Kylan Granson, and A.J. Dillon have all departed in free agency. Now, we talked about all of these guys in my last video. I predicted most of these guys would end up leaving. I want to focus on what I consider the key guys we lost who were real impact players, which are Phillips, Dean, and Reed Blankenship. So Reed is the one guy on this list that I actually thought the Eagles should bring back. I said in my last video I wanted him back. I still think the Eagles could have signed him back. His contract wasn't ridiculous by any means. 3-year, $24 million seems reasonable. Eagles opt to move on. Reed signs with the Texans. The Eagles will have a hole to fill at safety. I don't think Sidney Brown as a starter is gonna cut it. I hope they look to add another safety in free agency or the draft, or hopefully both. Jalen Phillips gets an absolute bag from the Carolina Panthers. 4 years, $120 million deal, massive deal, $30 million a year, more than Trey Hendrickson. I have to say I'm really happy the Eagles stayed away from this. Frankly, I don't think Howie even considered it at all after seeing those numbers. Like, listen, he's a good player, but this is a massive overpay. You're talking about an injury-prone guy, torn ACLs, torn Achilles, who had 5 sacks last year. And you're paying him prime, edge rusher, game wrecker money. And to be frank, I don't think he's in that tier of guys. The Eagles definitely made the right move staying away from this. I mean, this could have crippled us financially. Howie's way too smart to do that. And like I said, I doubt he really even considered it. Probably an easy pass for him. I don't blame Phillips for this. I mean, how could I? He got paid big time. He can rest easy now. The bag has been secured. I wish him the best. Maybe he proves me wrong and elevates his game to a level we haven't seen from him yet. I hope it's the case. I hope he balls out. Just not against the Eagles or anything. That leaves us with Nakobe Dean. He departs to the Raiders on a 3-year, $36 million deal. I don't want to dwell on this too much because my thoughts are pretty much the same as what I said about Dean in my last video. You know, great player, balled out last season, deserved to get paid, just wasn't something the Eagles could justify doing with the abundance of youth they have at the linebacker position right now. Definitely hurts. I love him as a player. The guy was like a heat-seeking missile on the field last year. I wish him the best. Okay, let's talk about the signings the Eagles have made so far. Some exciting moves. We found out earlier this week that Dallas Goedert will be returning on a 1-year, $7 million deal. This was really a pleasant surprise. You know, I didn't think he would be back. I thought he probably priced himself out of the Eagles' range with how he played last year. But Goedert is an absolute G. He opts to take a pay cut. He stays in Philly. And I don't want it to fly under the radar how awesome Goedert is for this. He had all the leverage in the world. The Eagles would have ate a $20 million dead cap hit if Goedert had left in free agency because of some deferred signing bonuses. Could have easily leveraged that and said, you know, you gotta give me the deal I want or I'm leaving and you're gonna take this cap hit. But no, he takes the team-friendly deal. He's entering his 9th season. He wants to retire here. Shout out Dallas Goedert. I'm really happy to have him back. I hope I speak for all Eagles fans when we say we won't forget this. Before I get into some of the guys they brought in from the outside, we also re-signed the punter, Braden Mann, to a 4-year deal. I'm happy about that. I said in the last video I want him back. I think he's one of the better punters in the league. A few years ago, $14 million deal for a punter might have seemed like a lot, but we've seen a lot of punter contracts this offseason, and it seems to be more or less market value. Also re-signed tight end Grant Calcaterra. I wasn't very high on him. I mean, I didn't really think we needed him back, but it's only a $2 million deal. Nothing significant at all in terms of cap hit, so it's whatever. They also brought in tight end Johnny Mutt from the Jaguars. 1 year, $1.5 million deal. I like that move. Solid presence in the tight end room. Mutt and Calcaterra will be the supporting cast for Goedert in the tight end room next season. I can see Mutt getting a lot of blocking duty. I wonder if the Eagles will still look to draft a tight end this year. I hope they do, but perhaps they don't have to do it as early as before when we weren't sure if Goedert would be back or not. The biggest outside move the Eagles have made so far is the addition of former Seahawks corner Tariq Woolen. He gets a 1-year, $12 million deal. I absolutely love this move. I mean, it's straight upside. Yes, he's had some struggles recently, hasn't been able to get back to his rookie year Pro Bowl form, but he's still a great corner, still a starting caliber corner, started in the Super Bowl, won the Super Bowl, and the truth is, it can't possibly be any worse. I mean, we had the Adoree Jackson, Keely Ringo carousel at the other outside corner position last season, and they both played very poorly. You can bet that Woolen will certainly be an upgrade at that position. We also brought in another corner, 10-year veteran, Jonathan Jones from the Commanders. Won Super Bowls with the Patriots. I like this signing too. I mean, he's at the end of his career, but it's still solid depth. He can be a good mentor, good leader in the locker room. It's going to be a veteran minimum, so it's cap friendly. I like this signing. We also brought in another veteran at the edge position, Arnold Ebiketie from the Falcons. Not nearly as seasoned as Jonathan Jones. Still a 4-year or 5-year vet. Just former Temple and Penn State guy. He'll be a good rotational and depth piece. Has some upside. He's still only 27. I like the signing, but definitely doesn't solve our edge problem. We're still going to have to add and improve at that position, but it's a start. Last but not least, at least for now, we found out earlier this week that Marquise Hollywood Brown is signing a 1-year, $6.5 million deal with the Eagles. I love this move too, man. I mean, tons of upside. He's not the same player he was on the Ravens early in his career, but still a good wide receiver. In my opinion, this is an upgrade at the wide receiver 3 position from Jahan Dotson. Some people think it's a lateral move. I think it's an upgrade. The Eagles haven't used the wide receiver 3 much in the past few seasons, but it's Sean Mannion coming in, new system. You could maybe see that position be utilized more, especially with a guy like Hollywood Brown, who's a fast and shifty guy, can be a nice gadget player for us. Okay, stepping away from free agency, let's talk about the seemingly never-ending A.J. Brown saga. If you're stalking your phone all day waiting for an A.J. Brown notification, you can stop, at least for now. I can tell you that it is extremely unlikely A.J. Brown gets traded before June 1st, if he does indeed get traded at all. I think there's a very small chance he gets dealt on draft night, but post June 1st is much more likely. After June 1st, the massive $40 million dead cap hit the Eagles would have swallowed from an A.J. Brown trade decreases significantly to around $16 million, with that remaining cap getting pushed back to 2027. This puts the whole situation in a rather interesting place. Before June 1st, any interested teams would have had to, really made it worthwhile for the Eagles to take that cap hit. It would have had to be a really strong offer, one they couldn't refuse. And at this point, it doesn't seem like that's happening. The question is what happens with the offers from the interested teams post June 1st. Obviously, they'll all be aware of that dead cap hit going away. Does that mean, they'll be giving weaker offers, knowing the Eagles don't have to eat that cap hit anymore? Does that mean Howie Roseman will be willing to take less for A.J. Brown, knowing the cap hit is decreased? I don't know. Howie's been firm on his asking price for the moment, which reportedly includes a first-round pick and more. Earlier this week, we saw Jalen Waddle get traded for a first and a third. I guess that boosts A.J. Brown's trade value. I mean, I think A.J.'s a better player than Waddle. Does Howie see that and think, well, if Waddle's going for that much, there's no way I'm giving up A.J. for less than a first? I don't know. I do still hope he doesn't get traded at all. I think the Eagles would rather keep him. He's an elite player. One of the best receivers we've ever had. If you want to compete for a Super Bowl next year, A.J. Brown has to be a part of that. There's no way you get rid of him and feel like you're better positioned to compete for a championship. And I want to say this. People need to calm down on both sides of the spectrum. I mean, I see people saying, I'm not taking anything less than 2 first-round picks for AJ. And on the other side, you got people saying, oh, we're going to get AJ for a 4th-round pick. Like, you guys need to relax. I think you need to educate yourselves a little more on the NFL trade values. This isn't Madden. It's not a video game. And I'm about to get controversial here, so strap in. You don't have to agree with me. I'm here to tell you what I think, not what you want to hear. The reality, as a huge A.J. Brown fan, is that A.J. Brown is not worth a good first-round pick at this point in his career. There it is. I said it. He's going on 30 soon. He has hamstring issues. He has knee problems. And I can guarantee you Howie Roseman is thinking the same thing. His asking price is so high because he doesn't want to get rid of AJ. If a team wants to come along and overpay, so be it. But do you really think we're about to get in return, double the compensation we gave up for him when we got him when he was 23 years old? Yes, I saw what Jalen Waddle just went for, but that wasn't a good deal. You can't look at that as the standard. The Broncos overpaid. They got fleeced. That's not standard value. And despite all that, Jalen Waddle is younger than A.J. Brown. And all this puts the Eagles in a position where it's is it even worth it to get rid of him? Because realistically, he's worth a second-round pick. Maybe you get another late-round pick with that. Is that even worth it? Wouldn't you rather keep him on the team than get a second-round pick? And I think that's how Howie feels too. Either AJ is going to get traded for a lot less than what fans thought he was worth, because that's his realistic value, no matter what you think as a fan, or a team is going to come along and overpay. Now, I don't know how likely that is. Maybe the Patriots will cave in and do it, or he's going to end up staying. And I'm not saying he won't be traded. I'm saying if he does, it'll probably be for less than what a lot of these fans are hoping for, unless a team comes along and overpays. So keep that in mind as an Eagles fan if you're one of the people constantly advocating for us to trade him away and really want him gone. Because that's the reality of the situation. 2 first-round picks? Come on, guys. I could throw in a couple more picks and get Justin Jefferson. Some of you have your values inflated. Those first-round picks are sacred. And there's a camp of people in Philly who say, I don't really care about the compensation. I want AJ gone because he's a drama queen. Listen, this is the NFL. It's not high school. It's not Mean Girls. We don't want to hang out with AJ Brown because he's dramatic. He's a professional football player. Despite all the drama, despite everything that everyone says outside of the building, despite what he says outside of the building, he still always shows up and plays. He's never threatened to sit out or anything like that. You can't put the organization in anything less than the best possible position to win a championship because one of your best players is a bit dramatic. The Eagles are closer to winning another Super Bowl with A.J. Brown on the team next year than they are without him and acquiring a second round and maybe a 4th or 5th round pick. That's the bottom line for me. We have 9 picks in the upcoming draft. We can still draft a receiver to eventually replace A.J. Brown and still keep him for now. It's not like we need to get rid of him because our future is vulnerable and we need draft picks or anything like that. Unfortunately, despite everything I just said and despite what AJ says or doesn't say, I think deep down AJ does want out. But the reality is it's not up to him. And he's not the type of guy that's going to sit out and protest. He's got that wide receiver ego. He wants the stats. He wants to ball out no matter what happens. He's a good teammate. He's good friends with everyone in that locker room. I can guarantee you that. And A.J. Brown will be playing next year. I really hope this whole thing gets ironed out and he ends up staying. But at the moment, it seems like we're caught in this never-ending A.J. Brown drama cycle, and a lot of Eagles fans are sick of it, rightfully so. But I trust Howie to make the right decision. I wouldn't lose sleep over the A.J. Brown situation until June 1st comes around. That's all we have for today. I hope you guys enjoyed. Drop some comments. Tell me if you agree with me. Tell me if you disagree with me. Let's talk about it. Stay tuned for next week. We're going to have a Phillies special episode in honor of opening day. So if you like the Phillies, stay tuned for that. We'll see you next time.